Alright. I think we're good. So I've been on this mission to find a good way to show how to level. We're going to start with Mage, but eventually we should get to all the classes. How to level a Mage quickly, effectively, easily. And I've recorded this before, but I want to make this a little bit more informative. This is going to be a Glacier Mage. There are other builds. This is the one I have found. This is the one that I like. I think it's simple. It involves two primary skills, Glacier and Mana Strike. And we're just going to go all the way through to the Oracle's Abode. We're going to get into Manas, and we're going to just do a couple of maps in Manas to show that the build is effective. It's going to be like a fresh start character, and we're going to go fast. It's not a speed run per se, but it's similar. It's the idea of moving fast effectively and not getting caught at any point. So we've got a little timer in here just to kind of show about how long it's going to take.
These roads are not kind to my bones.
So,
I must hurry.
Right in the beginning, the first zone, the speed run, at least the ones I've watched, you just run all the way through. We're not trying to make any world records here, so we are going to make things a little easier by actually killing these guys. All these guys add up to a decent amount of experience, and they're fairly easy to kill. So what we're trying to do is we're just trying to gather them all up. And we're going to stop at the cave, kind of turn around, and just start swinging, and we're going to spam potions as needed. And we're going to try to not die. Alright? So that gave us a third of a level. And this is a mage, you could do this on any class, it's fine. The phoenixes are the worst part of all that. And there will be a smaller group up here we'll do the same thing with. Up here, and then same deal. Grab our sword and move on. When you're running through here, you can tap everything you come across. Just one little lightning bolt, because the plants and the fire guys will fight each other. And as they kill each other, as long as we have touched them, you'll notice that we start getting XP for it. These guys have died yet, we're already leveling. Fireball's a little bit better than Lightning Blast, but I mean, if you have a preference for Lightning Blast, you could, whatever. I think the sword's okay. We're waiting for our boy to do the work for us. Chance to ignite? Sure. You just spam click, get through the quest. And we're gonna kind of ride Gale's coattails. Now you can do the melee attack, even as a mage, especially when you get like a sword or something. It's kind of better than his first couple of spells, because it can actually hit multiple enemies. And we're just gonna sort of, I like to go across the top. I used to go along the bottom. There's more guys on the top, which means Grail has more opportunities to kill stuff and get us some XP.
And for what?
So a nice big attack like this, we can help free stuff for him, and kind of wait for him to do the killing for us. And this is because the first real good spell the mage gets is Elemental Nova at level 4. And, you know, we're not level 4 yet, so pick up whatever gear we've got that's dropping. It's nothing particular that we're looking for, but I mean, we'll use it, right? Where'd you learn to fight? And all we're trying to do is kind of clump things up, because Grail, I keep calling him Grail. Gale has a couple AoE attacks that can occasionally make things a little faster. I think we're already going to hit 4. We're already done with this section. We probably shouldn't have stayed that long. But, so it goes. We're going to spec Fireball and get Ignite to help us with our single target.
Before it reaches town.
Between our sword and our Ignite effect now, I mean, we do pretty good damage already through Ignite. And you can use your health bar as a resource there, just don't die. That's all you gotta worry about. As long as you don't die, doesn't matter if you're full life or almost dead, you're fine. Going to the Keeper's Camp, because we're doing this online, which I assume everybody's going to want to be doing this online. You can't do any movement skills in town. You can if you're offline. We're a mage, we don't have them anyway, because we haven't gotten teleport yet. It's level 9. So you go back into the Burning Forest, and then you teleport to town, and it skips over the long walk. You can actually hold shift and right-click items out of your inventory. Like that one I left-clicked them through, but this one I'll shift right-click, and it throws it all the same. We're looking for silver rings. There's one. Cool. And we can give a quick look around at other stuff. Like, sure, we'll take a helmet, whatever. It doesn't really matter. You don't have that much money. You should have enough for silver rings. Which you're looking for 8% movement, but you take what you get, right? We got a 5%. And then you just run all the way through town. You don't need to talk to anybody. And so we got all the way up to level 4, so we don't actually need to level in this zone. We over-leveled in the last one. But if we find a big juicy pack, especially with all these plants, like so, it can be beneficial to kind of turn around, get in the middle of it all, freeze them, and then just start, you know, some nice XP. Now we're going up and right first, because in this chest, which is always here, there is always a spear that gives you an additional 5% movement speed. You might as well pick up all the blue gear. Kill some of these guys. Not necessarily all of them, we're over-leveled anyway. And we're going to put on our spear. And you can already see it's just a little bit faster, but that's good. Again, right-click, put things on. Shift right-click, throw things away. And same deal, this pack's getting kind of chunky, so we're going to turn around and kill it, because, of course, why not? And that gets us to level 5 already. As soon as you get Mana Strike, I like to put it on Q myself. Put it on whatever's comfortable. Between Mana Strike, right now is going to be Fireball, and eventually Glacier. You're good. We're going to spec another point into Ignite. And we're not really worried about our passives yet, because we're just going to fully invest them all in a timely manner when it's time to invest to pick up Glacier. This guy's hurt. Gonna kill me. So all these guys in this area, you can kill them, you can not kill them, whatever. I like to kind of clear everything that can possibly interfere with the, I believe his name is Styriak's fight. Because at this point in the game, he's actually pretty hard. And we're just going to throw fireballs. We're going to ignite him. It's going to do pretty good for us. Mage has this fight pretty easy, especially when you have good ignites. Have if you want to try hard a little bit, I could have put on the sword that I picked up that had ignite, anything that gives you damage, because this spear doesn't give us any damage, it just makes us move fast. There's a helmet with intelligence. Intelligence is a great stat for us to find on gear. I wouldn't say we're necessarily worried about getting it, but I mean, it's useful. Same thing. Big chunk of guys might as well. And we'll move on. We're not clearing all the stragglers, right? We're just clearing the big chunks and leaving the couple that's more awkward. Throw some of this stuff on the ground. I don't think we need any of this. Yeah, we can actually, we'll keep that one. I'm like slowing down over here, but also waiting for this group. And we'll put the Gladius on when we get to the fight in here. Same deal as before. Picking up any shrines is usually pretty good. Like this one's stunning, so this is just going to make it a little bit safer to chunk all these guys down. I'm out of mana. Guess that means we're done. But you don't really want to meet the groups as they come to you. You want to kind of run past them so you can corral everything into one big blob. Now we're going to stop here because the boss is down the stairs. And we're going to turn around and start AoEing everything down. Now these guys we do have to kill because they're going to follow us into the boss anyway. And I call it a boss. It's basically the same thing that we fought in the first burning forest zone. Pick up some shards. They might be useful later. And I'm going to put my sword on. And this is going to give us a little bit more ignite. It's no big deal. It's not required by any means. The big risk with this fight is actually the soldiers, not even a forged soldier. We've already fought one of those guys and we were a lot weaker last time we fought one. Now we can more than handle one solo. This is another point where if this were a speed run, we'd probably skip this, but this ain't no speed run. This is a let's do this quickly and effectively. Talk to our guy, click a couple times, get our passive point. I can't get past this pile of guys. And we just run straight into the next area. Here we're going to take a second, we're going to allocate our passives. We got to get 5 points anywhere. Intelligence, pretty good. That's going to unlock Glacier, we'll just keep dumping in intelligence. Then we're going to respec Fireball into Glacier. And we're going to come up and we're going to do a little bit of a triangle here. We're going to put Glacier on our bar and we're good to go. This is exactly what we'll be doing for the next, level are we? 6? For the next 30 levels or so. Will be Glacier, Mana Strike. That is the plan. We just kind of dump our mana bar into Glacier. And then just Mana Strike it all back. No big deal. That's pretty effective. I was going to pick up that scroll, don't care.
This way.
You talk to your boy, what's his name? Balthus, and you kind of just abandon him.
Tread carefully.
We're like, we provide emotional support, but we're going to go hide. You got this. Might as well click shrines when they're on the way. Now generally, especially early on, what you want to do is you kind of want to run past the groups and then Glacier behind you, and it'll probably kill the whole group with one hit. Now we got a crit shine, so that's basically guaranteed. But Glacier hits hard enough where we don't even really need the crit shrine.
Fools.
You can kind of see we're killing everything with the second or first hit on Glacier. Especially early on, you can use your mana bar to tell you when it's time to Glacier. We're getting high, let's go ahead and hit this pack. Okay, mana's low, we don't need to Glacier. Just run past everything. Getting high again, let's get in front of these guys, and Glacier. Right, you can sort of... Your mana bar will keep you efficient. I didn't put my speedy spear on. Get my extra 5% move speed. Look, our guy, he made it out okay. We knew he had it. It was the moral support we gave him. That's really what turned the tide. You just kind of run up.
I'm sure you have questions, but let me first
Make
check
sure
to
you're on your
the
line, I
box
guess.
safe.
I don't know. Whatever. Just kind of hold the button. You come up here, you talk to her. As soon as he says good,
No.
we're done. We go back to town. You do not need to wait for this little scene to play out. And we're in town. We're going to go back to the vendor. We're going to check for more silver rings. No luck. You know, whatever. I guess we'll grab a will. And then we're a little antisocial. We don't talk to anybody. We come up here, run across the bridge, just move on with our lives. Try to maintain your inventory as you go. Make sure your character's always running while you're messing with your inventory. Anytime you're in town is a good opportunity, or anytime you're doing a big slow walk through nothing. Spec your skills, do your passives, you know. You can take a couple hits, but you don't want to do that in the middle of a big old fight. The same deal, we run past the groups, with Glacier behind us, it kills everything in one hit. Part of why Glacier's really, really good starting skill, because you only really got to cast once to kill a whole group. I didn't even kill those guys. Maybe it did. I don't know if that counts or not. I think it counted. I got a little more XP than I did when I zoned. And pretty much same deal. Run past the group, Glacier behind. We can health pot if we need. Especially when you start getting stuff that's more like chunkier like this, you can kind of do a little zigzag serpentine style pattern. And that can kind of help you get through the groups and not take too much damage. The Mage is pretty effective, I mean right from the get-go, just clearing with Glacier. That sometimes I'll accidentally hit level 8 here. I don't think I'll quite get there this time, but we're close. Try one more for free. There we go, there's level 8. You do not, by no means do you have to hit level 8 before this fight. I won't even spec the skill just to make sure. Now, if we had got lucky, we would have picked up a staff or a scepter or something with spell damage on it. We didn't, so we'll just keep using our little trusty sword.
Reaching me was impressive.
Cold damage can't ignite in this game.
Come, Member Wing.
We're gonna make sure we put our flame ward on before this fight, and this is gonna be our setup. We're gonna Glacier, hit, maybe freeze him, don't die, and just keep meleeing with Mana Strike and Glaciering away as mana permits. You can also hit it with Flame Ward to kind of just stand here and get a little bit more damage out, no big deal. Getting a little frisky. Just trying to freeze him, that didn't work out so well. But yeah, as far as a decent weapon, we'd like anything with spell damage, cold damage. There aren't many options at this point. The Ignite's not terrible, because they do stack up, but we also don't hit a whole lot. So, you know, cast speed, sure. There's some spell damage. Yeah, whatever. None of that looks great. Talk to Balthus. When he's done talking, we'll manually teleport back to town. It's a little faster than going over to the waypoint. And then we'll check the vendor one more time. Looking for rings. I guess we'll take some spell damage. And I don't think we're... Oh, there's a ring. I almost missed it. We'll go ahead and grab this staff while we're here, because we just need anything that gives us spell damage. We're going to put our trusty spear back on. So we can't put the spear on because of the shield. We can just right-click the shield, and then right-click the spear. And then we can shift right-click that stuff to get rid of it.
He's back.
Talk to Lena.
You're back.
Talk to Balthus.
Lena.
Move on with our lives.
Sorry to you too.
We go to Ruined Era.
This is
Again, we
what
can
has
teleport before he's even done talking.
with the
Now,
box
items in this game, if you ever haven't noticed, they only sell for 50 gold, maybe 500 gold, depending on the item. It's not even really worth the effort to walk over to the vendor to sell them. You can just throw them on the ground and move on.
Shard seems
While we didn't care to hit level 8 before, you do kind of want to hit level 8 around here. And then as time permits, we're going to level up our Glacier, we're going to spec into Mana Strike, and we're just going to try to get our character ready for the next set of stuff. So, takes a little bit of effort, we might mess it up, but here we go, we're going to do it right now. Glacier. Level up right there. Trying to keep moving. Mana Strike. And then we're going to go left on Mana Strike for Arcanist's Blade. That wasn't so bad. We got some passive points to allocate. Try to do those. We'll finish out our intelligence. And then I'll just take the damage. So right in the middle here is a little bit of cold damage, lightning damage, fire damage. We care about the cold because we're doing Glacier. Your other option is health and mana, or ward gained, or spell damage. Every once in a while now. I like the idea of preparation, but I've tried it, and it doesn't do much in practice. It can feel good when clearing, so if you want to do preparation, feel free, but I don't find clearing to be problematic anyway. So we talk to our down bro over there, and then you come follow this path down to finish this quest out.
Gods be with you.
Elder Moss Burn is done. And then you work your way back up to that path. As far as I know, this is the fastest way to do this quest. And again, we're just trying to get everything done in one big go, beginning to end. So let's just do it while we're here. A difference between this and a speedrun is a speedrun might wait until you get some faster movement speed or cooldown reduction, teleport, so that you can just kind of get through this area, you know, 10 seconds faster. We're not that worried about it. We also hit level 9. So I'm going to put teleport on my bar. How random are the layouts? The layouts are exactly the same. They do not change. This game is not randomized at all. You get the same layout every single time. Even if you do this enough, you start to recognize these zones in the monoliths. they just show up and they'll have you do different little tasks in the monolith stuff, but it's the same zone you ran through before.
What brings you here? Sarah's grace be with you.
There's a lot of guys. That was the last guy for the quest, so we're just going to kind of run all the way through the rest of this zone. Put our new helmet on. Ours has int. I'll keep it. Again, especially early on, I'd emphasize the more DPS stats, int, spell damage, cast speed, whatever. Cold damage. I think that's about it. And movement, obviously. These are pretty decent silver rings. I will probably not replace that 7% move speed one, even with a rare silver ring, just because movement speed's the best stat. Unless the rare one has at least, like, I might give up 1% to get some other stats, you know? Whatever. Now this is kind of the same deal that we're going to be doing for all the bosses. Kind of hit, Glacier, Glacier. One little trick you can do on this guy, and I just kind of screwed up, is you can hit Flame Ward right before he does his little combo. And Flame Ward will actually get a lot of damage in on him. Because it does a little burst back anytime you get hit. It does a whole bunch of little hits. So, you can see his health bar disappear. That was all Flame Ward. We'll get a chest piece. Why not?
Oh, there it is. That's what. I'm very not be nice.
We're gonna run up. We're gonna talk to our quest guy right here. Turn in our quest. You only gotta click him, and then you click goodbye, or her, and then we're gonna move on through. We don't gotta talk to anyone else.
Get out, get out, get out.
Go on to the last archive.
Gosh, leave without a team. We had no choice but. Oh my
And we're gonna start allocating our skills a little. 3 points into Arcanist Blade. Keep moving. And then Morditus's Bane, I guess? Whatever it's called. And that's kind of where we're gonna be for the time being. This is our first softcore strat. If you're playing hardcore, you can't do this one. Sorry, guys. But speed run tech, yo. Take the ledger. Let our boys send us back to the beginning of the zone. And then kill their friends and get out of here. And you can try to, you know, maximize, optimize your teleporting. I will be far from perfect, but, you know, never helps. Or never hurts. Go up, not down there, and then you come down this side. You can go across here immediately, and then down, and that'll take you straight to the door. Talk to Patty and students. These guys like to spread out a little, so it helps a little if you freeze them immediately. You can get another, like, 3-man hit in with Glacier usually. But once they spread out, you can only usually kind of get about 2 of them. This guy's gonna be a punk and be way far away. Oh, I forgot to put on the staff, but if you want a little bit more damage for the boss fights like this, you put on whatever damaging weapon you have. Again, the spear does not help our damage at all. It only helps our movement speed. And then once they're all down, just go back to town. Now we'll just run straight on, and then we'll turn in our quest when we're done with Panion himself. I usually do not use the portal. Save your teleport for those stairs right there. It's a bigger skip than if you do it right at the beginning of the zone. And then we're kind of just looking for bigger packs. Like, this is a decent sized pack. The last one was only 2 guys, so we don't bother to glacier them, we glacier these guys. Especially now that we're teleporting, it helps to kind of keep a little mana. When you're in negative mana, we can't teleport. So. There, we'll put on our staff now. Got some idle nonsense. And you can kind of glacier across here to kill enemies and the Idol of Ruin here. He still gets hit by all these. As long as you sort of go across the edge, you don't have to glacier on top of his face. Should be about it. Still not getting much in the way of weapons. We are finding idols. That one has cold damage. Cool. So we'll find an opportunity to put that on as we go. I do not believe you can right-click idols, so we have to manually drag it up. It's painful, I know. There's not much in this zone in general, so we're just running right through it all. Now there is a path to the left you can go to get an extra passive. You don't actually need that passive to complete your character if you include the Chapter 9 stuff. So we're not going to go left, we're going to go right, because it's a little tiny bit faster. If you want the extra passive early, by all means, go left. You got to kill a couple husks in there, and then you will have an extra passive for this entire run. All these guys, I find it a little easier on Mage if you glacier back toward the center. You get a little better coverage. You kill multiple packs when you do that. So I kind of run past the pack and glacier back toward the middle. Try not to die like I'm about to, though. Just mana strike to get your mana back as needed. One little trick is you can glacier and then mana strike immediately, and you should be able to hit the first guy before he dies. Gives you a little pump in your mana bar, just a little.
Fools. Fools.
And then there's the boss. Should have put my my staff on again. I keep forgetting. It's not the biggest deal. It just adds a little bit more DPS, makes the boss die a little faster. The bigger deal is don't die, so then you gotta do the fight all over again. I don't think that applies on this fight, but in general. Yeah. Hey, there's a scepter with % spell damage. Cool. What was that sacrificial spear too? Nah, I don't care about it. Melee void, melee fire. So we can, again, shift right click and just throw all this junk on the ground. Yeah, that's better than whatever I was wearing. Same deal there. So we've got our scepter for any time we feel like we need a little more damage. We've got our spear for any time we want to move faster. And otherwise we're just kind of upgrading our gear and moving along as fast as possible. There is a quest to talk to the blacksmith here. He's fine, he doesn't need our help. So here's the boss. We're going to remember to put on our scepter, make this go a little tiny bit faster. And we're going to start coming over here and doing the right side, just down to mana drain.
Stay back.
That'll take most of our time before we get to monos. Again, freezing right off the bat is Mage is really nice. They usually wait until they're done with their loading animation, so you get some perfect free extra time to kill. You can use Flame Ward to kind of stand in stuff. This fire always goes, this is clockwise. So, if you stand just to, you know, counterclockwise position of it, you can walk behind it and be perfectly safe. Same deal. This goes clockwise. I haven't had much opportunity to do it, but you can just flame ward and stand in the fire as it passes over you. You should be fine. Just make sure you're at full health when you do it, because some of the damage does come through. Do it here. Let's get an extra couple hits in and end the fight.
It pains me to see an elder twisted
So,
like this.
Nothing particular worrisome there. Move on to the end of time. 36 minutes. Not a bad time. Anything around 40 is usually fine for this area. You don't gotta talk to, what's her name, the Forgotten Soldier or whatever down there. Forgotten Knight. Just come on back up here. Talk to our boy Gaspar. It doesn't matter. All the masteries are pretty good. I'm gonna pick Spellblade because I don't think Spellblade's really gonna benefit me very much. But this build works for every single mage class.
Will be necessary if our world, our reality, is to have any hope.
I actually like to open my map and go there on this one too, because you see I started in the beginning area instead of starting in the middle.
What? Goodbye.
But I often forget to do that. We gotta talk to Urza to turn in our quests. We talk to Gaspar in here, turn in that quest. And then we run all the way up. Now the enemies start to get a little harder, so I think this is a good time to retire the spear after you've killed Panion and gotten your mastery and all that. So, it was a nice run. Put on our nice quest gloves too. Nice clean inventory. We're not going to bother killing the big guys, because we're not going to kill them with a single Glacier. But anytime we get like the little bugs here, or I think we can kill the little guys in the back. Yep. Should be fine. And again, as you go, get used to doing this stuff while moving. Navigate your menus while not slowing down. Yeah, there's some bugs. And that gives a nice little, that was basically a bubble of experience all by itself. So now we're here. We're gonna get cooldown recovery on teleport. That's nice. Because we teleport a lot. Now, I'm not being the most efficient, but you can be a little more efficient with teleport, and it's just gonna make you move faster. Which, hey, who wants to be leveling forever? Nobody. If I'd managed my mana right, you can get a little double teleport there, because when you click on that door, it refreshes your cooldown. I don't know why, but it does. Again, same deal as always. Kind of run past the pack, turn around, Glacier behind. Move on. Doesn't kill everything in the pack. That's fine. It's going to kill most of the pack. It's going to give us a nice little chunk of XP. I think the Forsaken Trail is the first zone that gets like really dangerous, because right about here you start ending up with just so many guys that they're all throwing spears, spitting acid, and you can take a lot of damage, and if you die, it's a long run. It always puts you back at the beginning, so you want to be a little careful, especially as you get the halfway point in this zone, which, where is it? I don't know. Feel it out. We're about there. So when you start feeling like you've ran a long way to get where you're at, take a little more time to be a little more careful around the groups of enemies. You can see they're starting to add up. There's too many of them. Crit Shrine will help thin their numbers a little. Especially the big fat mage guys. They can do a little belly flop attack that can often just one-shot you if you're moving faster. This is a 17 zone, we're only 13 here, so we're pretty susceptible to death. So we're just trying to be real careful. Try not to backstep or stand still, because that's how you get hit. Always move forward. If you gotta turn around, go in a big circle to get there. There's the belly slam. That's kind of what I'm saving my teleport for. We're almost to the end, don't get excited. Keep weaving your way through the guys. I have died right here and had to run the whole way. Don't do it. Now we're in town. Let's get the next dangerous part over. This area is just as dangerous as the last one. And I don't remember what we were getting here. The Ruins of Welrin is another area you gotta be careful with, so I'm actually gonna allocate my points and take time before we get into the fun. Allocate Glacier. I like to go 1 point in Greater Destruction, 2 in Morditas' Bane, 2 in Greater Destruction, and then 2 in Morditas' Bane. That should get us to a really good spot by the time we fight the Emperor. And then with Mana Strike, we're just working our way back toward Mana Drain. And then here, I think we're just getting crit chance. If I remember right, that sounds right. Now this zone is pretty much the same thing as the trail. We get these little bug guys and these big void beasts. Other than that, it still has the spiders, it still has the cultists. It is just as dangerous, if not more so. And just as punishing, because if you die, you end up all the way back at the beginning again. So, this is another zone that you really don't want to die in. They have these, what are these? Festering cultist. This area in particular, the guys can really stack up and kill you. So I kind of just like to run straight through it and get the hell out. You see how many there are? They're trying to get me. And then the Undercity here is a lot safer. The guys just aren't quite as dangerous. What's that? Elemental damage? Sure. Sounds good. So we can check our tooltip damage. We're at 910 Glacier. And then that's 1015, so we can get rid of that scepter. What's that one? Nope. Maybe, actually. It had vitality and health. Just click on this guy a bunch. We're gonna try this helmet out. Oh, I threw it on the ground. Didn't want to throw it on the ground. We right click it. I will throw that one on the ground. Now, depending on your class, you should be able to get rid of these soul repositories in 2 hits. I'm just going to do 3 to make sure. Is that 2? I think it was only 2. But, yeah. It should take 2. If you've got the mana, you can do 3. It just makes it a little bit better. A little more sure you're sure. Yeah, I think we didn't quite get the kill with the 2 there. So this can pop up at any point where you're out of health pots. So you gotta just sort of be careful and wind your way towards some health pots to restock. Big surprise, but you will do most of your dying when you're out of health pots. Go figure. For the most part, during the campaign, you will not get burst down. It will be a grind, and you'll just run out of supplies to stay healthy. We go back. So this, you get a new spawn of guys back here toward the skeleton. So clear them all out. Talk to the skelly bro. And then instead of going through that door, if you teleport back to town, it gets you halfway through the town immediately. Just a little time save. Do the docks. Kind of go straight down. There's always a pack right here. Surprised I did not kill them in 1 hit. I must be behind in damage. Now this one, don't get too excited to go to the right. You gotta go left first. And then we keep going down. And eventually, when we have nowhere else to go, we can go right. Alternatively, you can go up and around. I don't know, I find this path a little easier. But they're pretty much the same. Make sure you kill all these guys before the big centipede comes. Because kind of like the storeroom fight early on. The centipede by itself, not very dangerous. The centipede with guys, pretty deadly.
Oh my god, it got us tonight.
You see, he kind of hits hard enough to keep me at low health. And if you take a random hit from another guy, that's what's going to kill you. The centipede itself won't really do it. We're just kind of looking at the rares, whatever. I should have a filter on. I'll do that when I get back to town. Checking the vendor? You can check the vendor. Mostly I was looking for movement speeders. It's just the silver rings. As long as we can keep stumbling forward is fine. Alright, I lied. We're gonna do the filter while we walk up this path. Eventually I'll find the button. And I think I put one together for Rune Master. Yeah, whatever. That works.
Yes.
I don't know if I fully agree with myself when I built that filter anymore. Yeah, it's kind of glacier hit, glacier hit, glacier, glacier hit, hit, whatever. Just keep your mana bar up and spend it all on glacier. As always, every boss fight's the same. You've got your freeze, you've got your flame ward. Those are the only other two buttons you ever really need. Don't care about any of that. I'm not going to bother running back for it.
I did complete this thing!
And then move on.
Wait, did I have to go back? Frig, I didn't push the top with me!
Again, if we were speedrunning, we would be skipping these side quests right now, but this is a let's just get it all done in one big go. So we're going to go ahead and knock out the tunnel, knock out the, I don't remember what it's called, the last refuge or something. Tunnel's pretty straightforward. You just kind of run forward, kill stuff. Probably should be running past and glaciering behind me. Let me start doing it right. But you start to have a little bit more management over your mana now, so you should be able to teleport when you want to. That's not right. And just keep following the tunnel. No big deal. Haste Shrine helps, huh? Makes it a little faster.
Nico!
As with a lot of zones, you can kind of go down or up here. I just go up. Doesn't matter. You can go down. It's pretty equivalent. I like to hit the chest, just kind of look at what comes out of them. We did get a lead unique, so we'll go back and check it out. It's a shield, it's probably useless to us. It's actually a decent shield, but we're still not going to use it. We will check out this runic scroll though, some cast speed is nice. We'll grab the shield for good luck. Teleport back to the Shattered Valley, and then we have the Ancient Dragon inside the time portal as well. Again, if this were a speed run, you usually skip the time portal and come back when your character's a little faster and you can save 15 more seconds, whatever. Primeval Dragon? I don't remember what it's called. Finish off our sorcerer passives here. Or mage passives. And now, part of the strength of Glacier is you can invest in whatever tree you want right from the get-go if you want. So if you're just like, nope, I'm a, what am I? A spell sword? What is my specialization even called? Spellblade. If you just want to start dumping points directly into Spellblade, you can. But I think it's a little bit better to dump points into Runemaster initially, because then that will give us Flame Rush, which is a slightly better movement skill than Teleport. And so I've found that you get a little bit more defense out of Flame Rush. I guess Teleport's the better movement skill, but Flame Rush gives you more utility and helps solve some issues you have with just being a little squishy. So we're going to go into Runemaster. Obviously these points can be moved later. We're not stuck with them, but when we start investing into them, especially getting to level 20, oh, if you freeze him, he starts to do the explosion all over again. And you can flame ward the explosion. And it's like you didn't do anything for the past 30 seconds. There's some movement speed boots, cool. And then map, Ruined Era, Shattered Valley. We're going to take the time to kind of show some of the plans with what we want to do on Runemaster. Throw that down, we don't need that. We can swap that in. We don't have an amulet. Alright, so when we go to Runemaster, if we come up here we get a little more cast speed, which is nice. And then we start getting ward when we cast a spell. So that's going to initially make us a little bit tankier. And then as soon as we can start speccing in to Flame Rush, we can get even tankier. So, little mana there. One more point in Greater Destruction, 3, and then the next 2 are going to go into Morditas' Bane. And that should give us really good boss damage by the time we get to the Emperor. Again, we can go right, we can go up. I'll go up. Doesn't really matter. Just keep running forward and you will get to the end either way. Both are correct. Maybe one path is slightly faster than the other, I don't know.
Fools! Fools!
Hit that chest, but too late now. As you get to this point in the game, around level 20, you start to have a little bit of squishiness issues, which is part of why I'm taking Flame Rush at level 20. We're only 18 right now. But Flame Rush will give us a chunk of ward every time we cast it, which is what's going to keep us alive through the second half of the campaign run and into early monoliths. So the full setup for this build is just Glacier, Mana Strike, and Flame Rush. That leaves you 2 open slots to start leveling up skills for whatever other build you want to transition into. This is not supposed to be an endgame build. This is supposed to get you to about level 70. Conveniently, if you look at all the little guides that people put out there for endgame builds, they usually make the assumption that you're level 70. This will get you there. And a haste shrine really helps. Trying to make sure I kill more stuff because I'm feeling pretty underleveled. Boss here, you tend to get some stragglers, and I believe more stuff gets spawned, so I find it helpful to stand behind the statue and shoot everything back toward the front of the room. That way you just kind of happenstance pick up all the stragglers and spawns that come in. Same deal as most boss fights. Pretty straightforward on the mage. There are 2 temples that look the same. There's the Temple of Atera here, and then Lotus Hall. Temple of Atera, you go straight up. Lotus Hall, you immediately hang a left. So remember which one you're in. Atera comes first. Lotus Hall comes second. And go the right way. This little double circle thing, you can jump over it if you have the appropriate movement skill, which we do.
Have you come to make me whole?
Have a body, what the heck? Why is it still moving?
There's level 20, so we'll put Flame Rush as soon as we're done with this fight. We'll allocate Flame Rush, And the secret sauce is right here. You just get a whole bunch of ward, and then we're going to start reducing the mana cost. And teleport, it's been great, but Flame Rush is the future. You can see, get a nice little burst of 250 ward. That basically doubles our health bar. Again, Lotus Hall, we immediately go left. Now you can take Glacier all the way to 100. It's fine skill, but I mean there's other cooler skills to do, right? So there's no need. If you were to take Glacier, you'd probably get like Flame Ward as your other specialization and something to just pour out a little more single target, which I think like Ice Barrage. Glacier's pretty good. So a little tip with Lotus Hall, if you've not followed a speedrunner or tried doing it yourself, you only have to do one side. So as soon as we hit that blue little crystal thing, we teleport out of Lotus Hall, and we teleport back in, and it puts us right in front of the bridge. We just run up, we hit our orb, and here comes the bridge. Bam. That makes the zone a lot shorter than if you were to run all the way through, do the full circle, get both orbs. You don't need to do any of that. Relic. We are super under-leveled. I think I was expecting to level Glacier up twice. Okay. This relic's actually pretty decent. That 39 necrotic damage to melee attacks and spells for 4 seconds on potion use is a lot of damage at low levels. So, if you were to find it, I would definitely put it on. Unfortunately, we didn't find one of those. So Emperor, you just kind of kill the little bubbles he calls forward. And try not to get wombo comboed, especially when he pops his head off right here. That little tentacle whip that he does, if you get hit by something and then the whip, it can just kind of instantly kill you. This little explodey thing, yep, right there, he's trying to get me. So, same deal with those. Getting a little dangerous. I would like some health potions, thank you. Yeah, you see, he's getting kind of risky. So, watch for the combos, because he almost killed me like 4 times in that fight. You gotta keep your health bar full so that you almost die instead of dying. Being higher than level 21 would also help. But hey, we are where we are.
I believe they seek out the outcast, leader of the
So going into Act 4 here, we go into the Imperial era.
the rest.
This is another one of those miserable, long towns. So we're actually going to go back to the Ruined era. We're going to open our quest bar with Shift, click Ancient Hut, go to the Council Chambers, and turn in our quest. And if you think about it, we would be walking for most of this time to just try to get to the next section of NPCs.
May I
You can
tear
turn
a
in this
smile
quest,
upon you?
get a little bit of XP,
Greetings.
turn in that quest, get some XP, and importantly,
Do not
some
dwell
idle
on
slots.
regrets.
Open our map again. We can click Immortal Empire, Outcast Camp, and travel back. And it takes a little longer than if we were to have just walked, but we've also turned in a couple quests. That's also why we didn't turn them in earlier. So we can start picking up a little bit more ward every time we cast a spell. This is the other reason why we're going into Rune Master, because really we just need some tankiness. We've pretty much got damage covered for the rest of the run. So this one's going to give us 12 ward every time we cast a spell, and intelligence, which is a little bit more damage. We can get our Glacier stuff going. We can get our mana drain. And we can start getting mana efficiency. And move on. Now it took me forever to realize you don't have to do about 90% of Act 4 here. You can pretty much run a straight line all the way to the end boss. And that's pretty much what we're going to do. We're going to stop in one little section to do the lake. And other than that, we're not going to bother doing any of the actual quests for this zone. Go. Same deal, Flame Rush. Get a little bit more mana efficiency. So this one you usually have to go kill that mage. You don't actually have to go kill that mage. You can just completely ignore poor people who need your help. They don't really need your help. They'll figure it out on their own. It's fine. This is where we need to be the stern father figure. If we were to solve all these people's problems, will they ever really learn to handle things themselves? I don't think so. Oop. Don't die. I don't know why I stood in that. This is not a terrible place to die if you gotta pick one. There you go. And our mana strike is leveled up to give us so much mana that 2 mana strikes is kind of more mana than we spend on a Glacier. Even if you just Glacier mana strike, that's pretty equivalent. I think you end up down about 10 or 15 mana, which your mana regen will take care of. So, as you go along, you start being able to Glacier more per mana strike. So this is the lake area I was talking about. We go from Risen Lake to the Corrupted Lake. And we're going to go on a big spiral to go fight the boss in the Corrupted Lake. Yet another example of if this were a speedrun, we would save this. We'll be able to move a little bit faster, deal a little bit more damage later on. And you are welcome to skip this section and come back later. But I like to do it just so I don't got to remember to come back later. We were planning on being 23 when we fought the Emperor. We're a little past that. I mean, and you can see there's kind of gear all over the ground. As long as you're still functional and you're moving forward, you don't need it. You definitely want to look at it and you want to keep picking up more upgrades, more life, more intelligence, more spell damage, more cast speed as you go along. But, like, I'll look at that Staff of Glory, I guess. What does that have? Cold damage. We'll pick it up for later. I think that'll be good. It's okay if you leave good gear on the ground because you're leveling. As you get to higher levels, you'll find much, much better gear. The gear you're using now is just going to get you to the next part. So you definitely don't want to be a full-on hobo with no decent gear anywhere on your character. But if I missed a good piece of gear or two, as long as I'm capable of killing stuff, that is no big deal. You gotta make sure you get out of this beam when you're fighting this guy. And there we go. Little cooldown recovery. We'll look at it, but I don't think we're going to end up using it. And then, same deal, click Immortal Empire. Just click on the Risen Light, it's fine. That takes us right back to where we were in the quest. Get more ward on spellcast, sure. Get more mana when we hit. We still had another point. Did I care about any of this? You can start getting less damage from chilled enemies, but I'm going to keep going on ward. We'll get that after. And what was this staff? I'm dealing 1611, and this takes me to 2117. Cool. Don't even know what this does, but we can throw it on. Great. What does that do?
Let me go find them out.
Has slightly less movement speed, but we also get cooldown reduction. I'll keep it. So this area, you hit the stone, it brings the bridge down. Normally, you feel compelled to follow the quest, but don't do that. We go this way. Oops. We hold the button too, we don't just tap it. More mana efficiency.
What the heck, Nico? Why is your mind there?
That one had mana? I'll take the vitality, sure. We got our shield for good luck. Don't go through that door, by the way. That just takes you somewhere you don't even need to bother going ever. Actually, doesn't that take you to a dungeon? Yeah, eventually. So I guess if you're gonna do that dungeon, you do need to go there. Trying to kill a little bit more because we're still a little underleveled, and that's okay. It's fine being underleveled. Unlike other ARPGs, namely Path of Exile, there's no reward for being underleveled. You just get leveled up as if you were the level that you're supposed to be, and that works until you're 10 levels under the zone. So we would have a problem if we were level 17 right now, but anything higher than 17, it's all the same. Now we might feel a little lost because we don't have a little quest marker ahead of us, but we just keep following the path. It's a pretty straight shot from here all the way to the end of the act. Too early. And it's starting to get a little crazy. You can see how we're almost dying all the time. And we did die. As I was saying, you don't tend to blow up. You tend to run out of resources. I ran out of health potions. Couldn't find any. Playing on hardcore, you might want to be a couple levels higher. Take it a little slower if you're playing on softcore. It's no big deal, especially at a point like this. You just pick back up and run to the end. It cost you 15 seconds. Not there. Idol of Fire, huh? Not going back for it. And we've just generally followed the path, right? We run into several of the little holes on the side, we just come back out and keep running forward. I don't necessarily have these zones memorized, I just follow where it tells me to go. I can't go forward, I'll go down. And then I'll go back up. Especially in a situation like this, where we're still 3 levels under the zone, it's okay to get a little lost and maybe fight a couple extra guys, get some more XP. It's a good spot to be in. Ignore that guy. That guy freaking just spits out wraiths everywhere. As if we didn't have enough following us already. Another instance, we could go down and around, we could go up and around. Doesn't matter. Just kill stuff. Not the big guys, they take too long. We can start getting the damage taken. We take 6% less damage while flame rushing, and then over here, it persists after the flame rush as well. So, between our potions, our flame rush, and our flame ward, we have our defenses kind of covered, right? You definitely can still die, but that is the plan until we come out on the other side at level 50 or so, and we can start just kind of crushing the game at that point.
Get off my ship! My ship will be your tomb. To defy the Emperor is death. Break yourself upon my body.
I'm just kind of running around him in a circle. You don't have to. I'm probably moving too much. but
Hurry, and break your
can
hands.
help.
Take that as a yes. Get to the railing and give us
Sure. Care. Off we go.
These robes are not meant for swimming.
And from here all the way till the Oracle, it's really dangerous. We're 5 levels under. All of these guys poison. They all have a ton of health. So we just gotta be on our toes. We're gonna go a little bit slower and try to kill a little bit more and try to catch up on some XP. Yeah, you can see the issue. Even when we were dodging the group, we're still getting ticked down by the poisons, and then the next group found us. So, hopefully you're a little higher than 26 when you get here. There's not as much of a need to run through zones in this game. I just have been kind of going and jamming and ended up here. At this point, with these 10 points, 2, 4, 4, Glacier's pretty much done. Absolutely, we will continue leveling it, but we're not really all that worried about any of the other levels coming. So let's talk about where we're going to go next on Glacier, actually. Because I don't think that'll even be covered in the video. You can look up a Glacier guide. I believe they usually do as a sorcerer. It's an older build, but it checks out. You come get this chill chance, which is kind of 2 wasted points. But then you get a bunch more large damage explosion and hit damage against chilled enemies. And if you keep going, you can come down here and you get a bunch of mana gained for critting and killing enemies, which can help sustain your Glacier cost. Now, it only gives 1% mana, so at this point it would give us 1 mana for every enemy we kill. But if you do it on a sorcerer, and you have, 500 mana or whatever, I don't know what they get these days. Every time you crit with Glacier, you can actually generate mana. You can see that even though my character's kind of fumbling, we're okay, and we just keep pushing forward. Ain't no excuse to stop. Probably don't want to fight these carrion guys, they're pretty hard to kill. Everything else here, though they do have a lot of HP, they are killable. The carrions included, but I like to not really worry about those ones specifically. See, we are being a little bit more completionist in the amount of stuff we're killing. We're not leaving as many stragglers because we just frankly need the XP. We're still 5 levels behind and we leveled up.
More democracy! Ow. Oh, you gotta press on it.
Here in the Wraith Dunes, I like to just kind of follow this top left path. Right, you're on sort of the cliff's edge. And that's because when you get up here, you end up bending around, and this takes you to the little side quest that you needed to do. I would make sure I kind of kill everything and clear out stragglers. This is another one of those tougher boss fights where it's the enemies that are with him that are going to kill you. He's going to deal a lot of damage, but he's never going to actually kill you himself. Normally. So we finished the parts we care about, which is 3 points in Arcanist Blade, 4 points in Mana Drain, so we'll come down here for the crit, but we're not too worried about that. So Argelos can hurt. Try not to stand in any of the effects he throws down. He throws a lot of them. Yeah, see, because we cleared all the guys out beforehand, we didn't really have too much of an issue with them. And that'll get us a passive point. Yep, saw that coming. Being under level, the mob density does go up the higher level of the zone. Yeah, I don't know. Because there's no... So, in Path of Exile, the Path of Exile keeps you at the right level when you move quickly. You just have to make sure you kill enough, and the levels will push you up as you run forward. In Last Epoch, it considers me level 32, and yes, the density is a bit higher, but the monsters are also more dangerous, notably more dangerous. So you can easily end up in a spot where you just can't really kill things efficiently, or you're dying constantly. Even this one death here, look at all this time I'm running here not gaining experience. So, it can really slow you down, and it's slowing me down when you're not able to keep up with the difficulty challenge. It's not as much of a big deal where I'm risking not being the right level, because the leveling is fine. The bigger issue is I'm risking not being able to kill stuff. Because when you try to go fast in this game, you can end up at a major deficit for character power. Just, there's so much stuff coming at you, there's so many guys, that it's not a question of like, oh, I'm going to get better XP at higher levels. Sure, you're going to get better XP, but it's going to be harder for you to kill stuff. So, I haven't noticed a major time save by going faster, because you end up having to slow down to get XP anyway. The biggest thing is just finding ways to be efficient so you can kind of kill and move forward at the same time. We're a little... That's why I keep saying I'm under-leveled. Like, our time's great, and if we could just run all the way through, we could be done by now, hey. But we're gonna struggle, like, with this Majelka section. this one I'm noting, looking at the little quest markers. The one's telling us to go back and talk to, what's his name, Alric, back at the beginning area. Again, you don't need to do that. We can just keep pushing forward through here. So on this filter, I have these chance to shred armor weapons, because if you're doing a ice bite build, you need the armor shred. I'm not too worried about doing that right now. I'm just going to keep pushing with Glacier. But, oops, don't do that. It can be really important to pick those up if you're planning on transitioning earlier. And you can do like a Frost Claw, I call it Ice Bite, Frost Claw Frostbite. You can do those builds around like level 35, 40. So, what's that one? We already looked at that one. So then you'd want to pick up a sword like that to just have it ready. Preferably you can get one with like chance to shred and cold damage. And that'll be a really nice weapon. You'd use that for the next, 40 levels or whatever. Notably, there is I think it's called the Ice Axe or Cold Axe or something. That's kind of the weapon you want for those builds. And I'm dying a lot, so I need to start paying attention. And this is exactly what I was talking about, the power level deficiency, right? My character would be hitting notably harder, have more defenses, which, I mean, we can get more defenses here. And it's just those little 5% here, 2% there. It's really stacking up and just making us very, very squishy. Doesn't help that I think I got myself killed initially and then everything sort of got out of hand there. Now once you kill that guy, throwing the poison everywhere, Alric spawns right here, and as soon as you talk to him, which you have to talk to him now, it updates all your quest markers. It's easy to forget that one, which means you're going to have to come back and do it. You'll end up running through a bunch of empty space, so trying to remind you now, when you come through that little gap and you fight the poison bow dude, talk to Alric to update your quest markers. Yep. Just running out of resources. I'm hitting my potions way too fast, way early. And this is, again, slowing us way, way down. Because we just keep dying over and over. And naturally, it's closing our level gap. Look, that one has melee cold, that's not good. Neither of those would be good. We'll keep an eye out on the armor shred items. I think Frost Claw, Frostbite's a pretty popular build. Here I actually like to go toward the waypoint first. Yeah, well, because I'm afraid of dying and then having to walk all the way through again. Go figure. Try to get a little more XP here. Once we come activate this waypoint, we can clear out all these skeletons, and if we die, no big deal, we're right here. We'd rather not die. It is faster to not die. But if we do, we're just right here. And then I do still want to come back and clear this quest section, because then that lets us just teleport back to the waypoint to finish it off after we go do the next area, because that place is a different zone. There's another area we're expecting to fight a tough guy up here, so we kind of clear everything around us. This guy is very tanky, so make sure you've got the damage. Now, a Glacier Mage is going to be fine, because Glacier does a ton of damage, but other builds, you may find this is just a miserable fight. But yeah, by himself, no big deal. Him and friends, pretty deadly. Talk to Alric when he appears here, don't forget. And now we kind of double back over all the areas we already covered. What's this one? Quiver. That would be good for the shards. This is the last really tough area of the campaign. I mean, I know we're kind of struggling and dying all over the place, but we're about ready for monoliths. These groups, you can kind of glacier the one right in front of you, and it'll hit the one behind them, and then you can start on the one behind them, and it'll hit the one behind them. Unless you screw up your mana. Go back and clear them all out. Died. I'm freaking out. Similar deal. This guy I think can hit hard enough to kill you by himself, but once you clear out all his friends, a lot less likely for that to happen. Same deal, once you kill that guy, make sure you don't forget to talk to Elric.
I wish I'd seen it. I can only imagine how she feels.
That one's a little brutal because you can't really kill around the guy because he's just kind of right in the middle of everything. Which I guess says more about the other guys because they should probably be placed more in the middle of the monster, so you have to fight them all at the same time. After you talk to Alric and come up here, you want to go straight left. There's a lot of inviting areas to go upward. Don't do it. Don't be tempted. Come all the way to the left, and you'll eventually find this staircase that I don't know why I decided to talk about that while I'm fighting multiple siege golems. But I did. Actually kill all this stuff, because I'm going to get myself in trouble again. I would like to stop dying and embarrassing myself. It's fine. This guy, he's actually pretty dangerous all by himself. You gotta watch the sandstorms. And he can kind of set you up in little wombo combo situations, so. Yeah, look at that. There we go. Same deal, you can kind of double teleport there, but totally screwed that up. Once you talk to Alric, don't be baited, do not take the portal. Open your map, teleport back to Majelka, and that will take you right to the door of the Oracle's abode. So once we get to the Oracle's abode, we're about done with the campaign. Now, if you've looked up the strats of getting through the campaign, leveling new characters, there's generally 3 ways to do the campaign. There's Oracle's abode and done, which is considered the softcore strat. There's Act 7 and done, which is considered the hardcore strat. And then there's just running all the way through the campaign straight, beginning to end, which is considered the newbie strat. You should probably do the whole campaign one time, just so you can say you did it and okay, you experienced it. But once you've done all that, if you're playing the game, there's really no reason to continue on and do every single quest, because the big things you need are the passive points and the idle slots, and Oracle's Abode is the least amount of campaign you can do to get all the idle slots. Because what we'll do is we'll go from here to monoliths, and then when we're like level 50 or whatever, we'll find a sanctum key. We'll go through the temporal sanctum and go to Act 9 and finish out Act 9, which will be easy by the time we're level 50. I guess that's actually a pretty normal level to be at Act 9. And then at that point, you can finish out your passives and idle slots, and your character is fully ready for, exclusively doing monoliths and working toward endgame at that point. What program am I using? I am using LiveSplit, I believe. It's another... Where is that unique? Oh, it's equivalent. Don't care. And you can kind of see, even with all the dying and all the misery, we've still made it to Oracle's Abode in about 2 hours. We're under 2 hours to get in there the first time. We're going to finish this quest up. We'll be back in there slightly over 2 hours. I guess if we can kill this guy in 90 seconds or less, maybe we can get under the 2 hour mark. But the point being, you don't have to play perfect. There's no reason why the campaign needs to take you 4 or 5 hours. 2 to 3 is probably fine. And I think the Mage is actually really good for leveling. I expect the other classes take a little bit longer. That said, I think I can do all of them in under 2.5 hours. Get our tablet. Tablet acquired. We click on the tablet on our quest. It takes us back to Oracle's Abode. We travel. We turn in our 2 quests. Our loading screen is going to cost us the 2 hour mark.
May a terror smile upon you.
Oh, 20 seconds. Go, go, go.
Greetings.
And there you go. Under 2 hours. Cool. We go to the end of time. Check out the main island. We're done with the campaign. The double check would be you open your map. Same deal. I'll move the timer. If you look at the passive points and idle slots, you should be at 13 of 15 and at 5 of 8. That means you're about ready. That said, our character is a little bit of a disaster right now. We're going to get a little bit more defense, so this will make us take 8% less damage. Not a ton, but it's something. We can maybe put something here. I guess fire damage sounds good? Sure. Elemental damage? Yeah, elemental damage. And then these don't look particularly great. So all we're really looking for is these Imperial Staffs. And any decent roll. There we go, some cold damage, bunch of spell damage. So that'll take us from 23, 22 to 24, 26. Cool. And we got about 13,000 to blow. So we can just keep rolling. We can look at, again, these Imperial Staffs.
Maybe it'll help you along the way.
Go for that one.
That's a winner.
We can try a quarterstaff, but don't expect it to be much.
Looks powerful.
No Imperial Staffs. No Imperial Staffs. Now, if you were planning on going to like Frostbite, Frostclaw right now, you would be looking for swords, maces, all those things, because you cannot actually roll Armor Shred on a staff. We'll try the quarterstaff.
Hey, I don't run these games for free.
Oh, guess we're broke. Okay, cool. Good enough. So we got 100 more DPS. We go into our first mono. We're just going to run a map or two to show nothing changes. Well, it does change. They're a lot tankier. They're a lot scarier. This is why this is the softcore strategy, is I would expect to die here. If you do not want to die, you can go back to the campaign and push forward a little bit. We are only level 32, and we're going to be fighting level 58 monsters. It is helpful to look at the enemy mods. Enemies gain Frenzy and Haste when hit. Not great. Our other option is enemies deal 12% damage and have 200% increased critical strike chance. That sounds even worse. So go for the easy one. And I do not expect to clear this, but hopefully I don't die too fast and I can get a level or two. And this is where I believe the same thing applies to monos. We can only gain experience in this monolith as if we were level 42. So that means we are missing 16 levels worth of experience. But this is still generally fine because the enemies in the campaign right now are pretty dangerous. They're about as dangerous as level 58 monolith monsters. And as far as the monster density goes, monoliths have much better density, and you don't have to kind of run around and do all these dumb quests, at least not for the most part. You can just get in here, find some easy guys to kill, get some easy XP. Eventually we'll probably find something that's too rich for our blood and it'll kill us, and that's fine, we'll just go again. And we're just taking the little packs as they come, because we're so hugely underleveled. As you get to a higher level, obviously you can take on bigger and bigger packs. But 4 guys is more than enough right now. Look at that, almost killed us. Bleed still almost killed us even after they were dead. So we can actually get a little more frenzy here too, help our spell casting. Yep, there we go. There's the death. Just got a little too frisky. Well, we got almost a whole level. Then we just do it again.
Does not matter.
And you don't have to do this till you're like level 50 or anything. We will start being able to kill stuff here very, very soon. And you can start, I would say by the time you're upper 30s, like 37, 38, you're just cruising through the monolith, no big deal. Sorry. Kids are yelling at each other. Yep. That is okay. I think the guys came from behind and ambushed me. Yeah, I was the ambush behind. And this is also set up to show that you can just go Glacier on any of the mages. If you are a Rune Master or a Sorcerer, I think Glacier's a little bit better. If you are a Spellblade, you can go into Shatterstrike around level 20. I'm not going to show that here. If we decide we want a Spellblade leveling guide later, we can do that. But I picked Spellblade to show that Glacier is just totally capable of carrying everything all by itself. We don't need the bonuses or spell casting. Don't want to die, not yet. Yeah, too late. We're having some struggles getting that first level done. And some of the gear will be level 55 and anything between where we're at and 55, and some of it will be our level. Smart chill. So this will make us crit a lot more with our mana strike, which ends up just giving us even more mana. That second level came real fast. And yeah, you can see as soon as you get going, I mean, I already just picked up another 10% into the next level. A lot of spell damage, just can't wear it yet. That's a lot of damage. You really can just take your time, super slow on these early monoliths. Just packs of 4 or 5 guys, that's all you can really handle. So miserable. Just so much armor on this guy. some frostbite on cold hit, sure, whatever. We're gonna go to so we get level 35. We can be done with this rift. I think 35 is a good level to kind of stop and show. We can put any skill we want here, right? If we're a Spellblade, we're going into Shatter Strike. You really want to get your Shatter Strike to... Where's the one that lets you triple cast?
Why?
Right here, Whiteout. So we can start leveling up our Shatter Strike. And we can just kind of leave it there. And we can get the next, you know, however many levels with it. Let's save our XP tomes. Alright, go anywhere but the XP tomes. And by the time we're done with this zone, our Shatter Strike should be level 10-ish. And we can start acting like a real Spellblade. But again, Glacier will keep scaling up. There's no need to run away from Glacier. And that's one of the big advantages of this build is you can go into any skill that requires, you know, 5 different skills being level 15 or so. I believe you should be able to do that by the time you're level 50-ish. 18 or so is around 60, 70. Probably wouldn't invest in this beyond 70 unless you're planning on being a level, you know, Glacier Sorcerer, which is a fine endgame build, by the way. But wouldn't want to be a Glacier Spellblade by the time I'm level 70 or 80. And you can even see that just those couple of levels have made it so much better. Oh, and then I got greedy and died. But yeah, I wouldn't expect the first couple monoliths to be clean. They should probably be a little cleaner than what I'm doing, but especially if you haven't done this before, wouldn't expect it to be great. But you can kind of just pound through this. And you should be getting 2 or 3 levels per mana. Or, you know, whatever we want to call these, mono area. Wrong button. Nope, they stunned me. That was pretty brutal. So you just go again. Maybe don't fight big packs like that all at once when you're level 35 in a 58 zone. But I think this kind of, other than this being overly brutal right now, shows that you can get through the campaign in about 2 hours. We're still under the 2.5 hour mark. As miserable as it seems, it hasn't been that long. Same miserable quest monster. Don't die. Wasn't even hitting him. Oh yeah, I mean that's two. We got 2 levels on Shatter Strike there, right? We can start going. I think this is the other one. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've done a Spellblade, but I could start leveling up Shatter Strike. These don't get any harder, right? This whole area is level 58, so I'll keep going. Like I said, I'll be about level 50 by the time I finish this one. As you keep leveling up, you keep making Glacier hit harder and harder. It gets a little more mana efficient. Wouldn't really work too. You can use this one to actually reverse the order, and it makes the bigger one hit first. These are your higher level things if you keep going. And I would only stick with this till about 50, 60, maybe 70. And you could go into whatever other build you want, you know? With this setup, you can even, you know, swap in Shatter Strike and start seeing how's this doing. I wouldn't expect it to do very well. Then I can go back to Glacier and clear another monolith, get 2-3 more levels on Shatter Strike, see how it's doing then, and then I can slowly start swapping out these skills for my Spellblade skills. Like I said, Shatter Strike is actually Spellblade levels really, really well. I would still go with Glacier, but once you open up the second slot, instead of going into Flame Rush, you could go into Shatter Strike. That would be a different guide, though, if we wanted it. Anyway, yeah, I think this is about 2.5 hours is all I really want to do here. And, yeah, so there's the build, there's the guide. I will take a snapshot of this character as he exists right now and post it, and there we go. He's like, I'm still wearing 2 white silver rings, so we can upgrade everything about the character significantly. Avarice is actually really good just because of the elemental damage leached his health. That is a big boon for Mage because all their stuff they deal is elemental, so these gloves are just really, really good while leveling. Yeah, anyway, I think that's the video, and thanks, bye.